everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I haven't done a sit down video in a couple of weeks and I had an idea for a little series that I want to start doing over here, and let me know your thoughts on it. It won't necessarily be for all of you, but I very much enjoy making kind of like diet and weight loss content, and I very much enjoy watching other people's. And it just suddenly came to me that I thought I could do a kind of series, not entirely sure what we're going to call it yet. I'm thinking just like diet talk or real diet talk, or I don't know. I'll think of that. But I want to talk about different topics to do with weight loss because I am on a weight loss journey, which sounds like the lamest thing in the world when you say journey, but there isn't really another way to say it, is there? And I have lost almost 12 kilos now, so I'm like 11.7 or something like that I've lost. And a lot of you have been asking, by the way, why don't I say what my starting weight was and what weight I want to get to, and I've decided that I'm not going to do that. At the moment I've decided that for two reasons. Number one, I don't want to say how much I weigh because it's not a nice number, and I know that's a touchy subject, but whatever, that's number one. Number two, which is the more important reason, I don't want to say because it turns into a comparison thing, and then people will say, well, I weigh more than that, so what does that mean, and I'm happy how I am and I'm not losing weight, so would you say that I do need to lose weight? And it becomes this whole situation that I don't want. And number three, I think we use weight as a measure for things in a slightly unhealthy way, me especially, and I would like to try and not do that. At the moment I'm using it as a guide just to kind of get to where I want to be, but I don't want it to kind of be the be all and end all, because I think there are things that are much more important, and it's not necessarily indicative of your overall health, if that makes sense. So we'll get that out of the way first and foremost. But yeah, the series that I want to do today is going to tackle one issue that is going to be weight loss motivation. So in the upcoming weeks, other subjects I've got is I'm going to do binge eating, emotional eating, intuitive eating, all sorts of other topics that I've got that I kind of want to talk about, kind of dieting in your social life, just spotlight videos on specific topics because it's something that kind of preoccupies me quite a lot. And I also want to talk about kind of feeling like you're diet obsessed, which a lot of people tend to accuse me of. I want to talk about how different diets work for different people, and I've got a kind of general idea where I want to take this, but first things first, today we're going to talk about diet/weight loss motivation and what that means to you. So those of you who've been following my channel for a while will know that I have struggled with my weight I always go to say my adult life, but it's actually not my adult life, it's probably from when I was about the age of 12. I've always been curvier than other people, and curvier, I think when you say that, people instantly assume that you mean like big bum and boobs, and that's not necessarily the only definition of curvy. Yes, that too, but I think it's just an overall shape. So I've got one of those shapes where my waist is the narrowest part of my body, and then it kind of all just kind of goes out, and I've got bigger hips and just wider hips, but my waist is actually quite narrow. My boobs at the moment are big, but with weight loss my boobs aren't particularly big. They're like a sort of B to a C cup, so not big at all. I'm 5'1.5". That half is very important when you're as short as 5'1". And whilst I don't mind my height at all, I quite like being small. I think it's quite cute. It does then obviously mean that weight that shows that much more on you because of your your kind of physique in general. So I have been slim, I have been big. The biggest I've ever been is kind of what I've been in maybe the last 3 years or so. And I won't go into tons of boring details about why that happens. I've talked about that loads of different times. But basically I've got one of those bodies where I have to be very, very strict and very on it constantly in terms of exercise and in terms of eating, or I just spiral out of control, combined with things like emotional eating and you know, like using eating as a coping mechanism and that kind of thing. So that part out the way. What has caused me to suddenly be so motivated to lose weight and to have lost, like I said, almost 12 kilos has been a combination of lots of things. Because I've always dabbled in trying to lose the weight for the past few years. I've never kind of gotten to a point where I've thought, right, okay, this is how I look, and let's just make peace with it. I am not somebody, at this point in my life, maybe as I get older that might change, I'm not somebody who feels like I will be able to ever kind of do that. I know what my happy kind of size and weight is, and that I feel the best that I can feel, give or take body issues that we all have for various reasons, which we'll talk about in this series too. But generally speaking, that is around a certain weight, and it's probably at like a size 10 sometimes. I want to say maybe a 12 in jeans sometimes, so that's actually not true. It's just a size 10. And it's something that I feel like has affected me in so many different ways, the weight gain, because I've kind of struggled with it the whole way through. Now, if you're somebody that is able to kind of make peace with weight gain, then this doesn't apply to you, because you probably feel good anyway, and that's great. But you can still be kind of making peace and still trying to lose weight. Now, I don't know what it was that finally clicked into place that made me realise that kind of I needed to just really push myself. But I think what it was I was always waiting for that little bit of kind of respite of not having so much on to be able to tackle that, because people who don't struggle with their weight don't seem to understand that it is something that you really have to be in the game. You have to be on top of it properly. And if you're somebody who finds it hard to lose weight, then even more so, you really need to kind of have your head in the game and be really on top of everything. And I am somebody who really has to do that. But with other stuff going on in life, you know, the last 3 years or so, we've had my boyfriend's dad passed away. My boyfriend's very well paid, very kind of well established job come to an end because the company had closed down. We've had a move to a different country. You know, Wales is a different country. We have had my grandmother pass away a couple of months ago. There's been a lot of big things going on. We've had like Paul had some really extensive dental work done, which cost a very large amount of money, and also kind of emotionally was a lot. We've had setting up the restaurant for this past year. There's been a lot of very big stuff going on. I'm somebody that gets very kind of stressed out, and I very much like things the way I like them, and I like routine. And so I've had to really be on top of everything to do with life and things that were more important than, you know, food. And I was just grabbing what was easy and what was convenient, and that's how, you know, slowly, well, not so slowly if you're me, weight just creeps up. And so what has made me since kind of January decide that enough's enough is just wanting to feel good. And people's motivation can be for health reasons, which is an amazing reason. People's motivation can be for vanity reasons. Mine's kind of a combination of wanting to kind of feel more in shape, but ultimately wanting to feel good, wanting to feel like myself, not wanting to feel like Monica in a fat suit type of self, wanting to feel like my, again to use a cheesy term, best self. Because there is value, for me personally, there is value to looking thinner because it makes me feel better. Just me. That does not mean that in any way, shape or form I judge anybody else. And there are so many people who are much more plus size than I am now, or even the same as I am now, or like anything like that, who look so fantastically amazing. I mean, we can all agree pretty much, I think, that Ashley Graham is just stunningly beautiful and her figure is beautiful. But for me, like I said, I'm 5'1", I'm small. I don't feel good at this size. I feel good at a smaller size. And I just feel more like me, and clothes have a very big impact on this. And maybe I'll do a separate video talking about kind of diet and clothes, because I want to delve a bit more into it, and we're already at 11 minutes. But I definitely think that I feel confident wearing certain clothes when I'm smaller. But again, lots of other people feel confident wearing clothes no matter what, and I think that is actually the way to aspire to be, not how I feel. But I think I want to be able to wear tight vest tops, tucked in jeans, and not worry about, you know, like back fat and bits of squish. And people can be watching this and they can be thinking, don't worry about any of that thing, it doesn't matter. And you're right, it doesn't matter. I never even notice it on other people. But for me, personally, flattering is important, and just wanting to kind of be able to just chuck on a pair of jeans and not have to kind of worry about how things look and if I'm fitting into things. I want that ease back, and I want more options in terms of clothing, because I do definitely think that in terms of availability, but also the style options that are out there that are flattering, it's hard to find clothes that make me feel good. So that is something that kind of is important to me. And how I get motivated is something that a lot of you have asked me, and that's a very interesting question, because I find that watching things about kind of diet are inspiring. I'll tell you somebody, and this is a really weird choice, okay, but it helps for me. I enjoy watching their kind of diet content. She doesn't do a lot of it, but she does bits and bobs. Is Lisa D1. If you don't know who she is, she's one of the YouTube's OG YouTubers. She's amazing. And she does like low carb and stuff like that, and she'll talk about kind of it every now and then. And I just find her videos on it really inspiring for some reason, because I feel like we kind of, I don't know, I feel like I'm sort of on the same page as her, which sounds weird, I know, but yeah, it just makes me feel a bit more kind of inspired. So I'll watch videos of her. I don't kind of look through tons and tons of pictures of myself when I'm thin, because I don't know, I don't find that particularly motivating. It's neither here nor there. But I'm trying to think what other things I find motivating. It's more as well, as you go down, the more motivating it is. And seeing smaller numbers on the scales, feeling like your clothes are a bit big for you. Like yesterday I wore a pair of jeans that I bought, I think I bought them in October. And they were huge on me yesterday. Like, they were baggy on my bum. I had to put a belt on with them. And it just felt so good. It just felt, not just the achievement part of it, but it just felt nice. I just felt nice. And that's all you want, isn't it? You just want to feel nice about yourself. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any requests for topics about this kind of thing, then put them in the comments below, because I'm happy to cover a range of different topics, kind of relating to the same topic, obviously. In terms of what I've got on and stuff, let me just tell you as well, my lipstick is a Barry M, one of the like lip kit things. It's in Runway. It's actually a bit darker than I intended for it to be, but it's okay. My foundation is the Maybelline Urban Cover. My nails are, I've got Essie's Penny Talk on that finger, sorry, my ring finger, and then a C&D colour on the others. I'll link it down below because I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but it's kind of like a sort of, I don't know, what would you call that colour? Like a peachy, nudie colour. Jewellery, Pandora. Accessories, these are really, really old. My necklace is from Primark. And my dress is from New Look. I need to start remembering to mention clothes because you guys always ask me, and I need to remember to tell you. But it's kind of, it looks like this. It's quite a sort of loose kind of smock leopard print dress. I mean, what I was saying before about my waist being the smallest part, see, it's kind of that, but the dress is loose, so you can't really tell. But it's that time of the month and I feel really bloated and I couldn't face it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you soon.